podcast where we dive into the journey of maximizing your health potential. I'm your host, Dr. Nicole Srednicki, founder of Ultra Healthy Human, where we specialize in high performance health for high performance people. Today's guest needs no introduction. He is a world-renowned entrepreneur, investor, and the author of the best-selling book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and My Patient. Everyone probably already knows who I'm talking about, but did you know health is part of his success story? Robert Kiyosaki is not just a pioneer in financial education with millions of fans worldwide, but someone who prioritizes his health to maintain his sharp mind and unrelenting energy. Decades later, he is still traveling and presents his important message across the world. He continues writing books, closing business deals, and investing. We're exploring how health fuels wealth, Robert's personal habits, and what you can do to thrive both financially and physically. Welcome, Robert.
Thank you, Nicole. Thank you. Congratulations. Your show is finally off the ground, so it's good for you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I just want to say what I want to talk about really quickly is that the correlation between health and wealth. And years and years and years ago, I was a student of this man here. This is a book called The Grunch of Giants by Dr. R. Buckminster Fuller. And Bucky Fuller was the man who introduced the geodesic dome. Fuller was, John Denver called him one of the greatest minds of our times. And Bucky Fuller was known for his contribution to humanity. So as a student of Fuller back in the 70s, I spent 3 summers with him studying. And he says wealth was measured in time and health was measured in time. So that's why I was happy to come on this podcast with you, because being an old guy now, I'll be 78 next year. And, the time runs out. But also what's happening to my generation of boomers, wealth is running out. Because we have no financial education and no health education. My generation, a boomer generation, around the 70s was a big change. My generation had the thing called a 401k, sometimes called an IRA or RRSP in Canada, 401k in Japan. But what happened for my generation in 1974 was that we were not guaranteed of a retirement. So what they put in there was this phony thing called a 401k, which is a complete waste of fucking time. And what's happening to my generation of boomers right now, so they're responsible for their retirement. Okay, that's what happened in 74. So that means if you didn't put enough money in, about my age now today at turning 78, my generation or people like your parents, or they're running out of money. So I'll say it again: health and wealth are measured in time. So wealth, me, I'm always on. I like getting rich. I have a fun. I cash flow game is here. I love it. I love getting rich. It's my game, But I could try and spend forever. I'd never spend my money. I make so much money that I could never spend it all. It's almost impossible. And not just dollars, because I have gold and I have silver, I have Bitcoin. I don't trust my government at all. So I trust, gold, silver, Bitcoin. But what's happening to my generation, boomers, is that when this guy Biden, that criminal, and that communist Kamala, when Biden took office, they screwed, well, it was already screwed, but it made it worse for the baby boomer generation, because inflation went through the roof. So what's happening to the boomers today, this is, December 2024, dates are important, is that boomers, their inflation is killing them, and they don't have enough money to stay retired on, if that makes sense to you. In other words, they didn't put enough. I think the average boomer has $85,000 in their 401k. Now, I go through $85,000 in a week. I don't know how these guys can last. So if I'm 78, I don't know how they're going to last another 20 years if they last that long. So our health is increasing our lifespan, but our wealth is not keeping up with it. Let me say that again. So that's why I think this podcast is important, is health is measured in time. So let's say I'm 78. I met a guy last night who he turns 100 today. In fact, I met him at a Christmas party, and I asked him the secret to success. He says, "I don't eat meat and I don't drink." I said, "Well, I guess I'm dead." But anyway, he says, I live healthy and all this. I said, I'd rather die than do that. I like my meat and I like my alcohol. I like my coffee, you know. But he says, I live until 100. I'm going, well, that's your choice of your life. You know what I mean? But the thing is that what's going to happen is going to become more and more apparent, especially with this economy. 2025 is going to be the worst economy in history, even after my friend Trump takes over. Is that the U.S. dollar is in very bad shape. The U.S. economy is in bad shape. And so there's millions of boomers. I don't know how many millions of boomers there are, but all over the world, they're not going to be able to retire because they're out of money just when they're living longer. And then healthcare has gone through the roof. It's the biggest criminal. I don't know which is bigger criminal operation, the pharmaceutical industry or the stock market. And I think they're both pretty criminals. But anyway, health and wealth are measured in time. So here I am, I'm 78. I don't worry about money. I can live forever if I had the money could just keep going. But health runs out. So that's why working with you has really been a bonus for me, because I've been, I focus on my health. And for those who may not know, what Dr. Srednicki Nicole has, is called concierge health. It's called Rich Guy's Health. I mean, you can talk to her. I can talk to her anytime I want and all this stuff. I don't have to go through my insurance company. So I don't need insurance to talk to her. So all you people listening to this program out here, if you're ready to commit suicide, Japanese call it harakiri, where you cut your guts out. If you don't have any money and you're sick, you're in big trouble. So that's why if you're younger, take care of your health and wealth early. That's what I want to say.
Thank you, Robert. You touched on some very good points. And, when you're young, starting to pay attention to your health to help preserve it longer, which is what you started to do. And we saw such a huge transformation with you. One of the tests that we did, remember when we did the age test and you and Kenny McElroy were having a fight over who was going to be younger on the inside. So this test actually measures your inside age, and you won that because you inside are 15 years younger than your actual age. So that was amazing. How did that make you feel?
No, that's really good. Anyway, health and wealth are pains in the butts too. You got to take care of your body, and you got to take care of your wealth. So anyway, it's good. The point here is that I can afford concierge health. It's non-insurance health. And you can get that message out there. That's why I wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That's why I have the cash flow board game. Is the average American my age, they can't afford the health. That's what Bobby Kennedy Jr. is working with Donald Trump and all this stuff right now. Is the American pharmaceutical, those COVID guys and Dr. Fauci, they're criminals. I mean, they should be put in jail or roasted over a spit with an apple in their mouth. You know what I mean? They're criminals. They're ripping us off. So the thing is, I have enough money and the wherewithal to hire you to see you on a regular basis that, I don't know if you've talked about the insurance, what you have to go through just to get an insurance claim today, but it's a pain in the butt. I'm filling out tons of paperwork all the time now just for the insurance company.
Yeah, and we do the same on our end. It's such a battle to try to do things to keep you healthy, and that's why I'm working outside of the traditional insurance and medical system. And if you think about it, the medical system wants you to be sick in order to make money. So what is their incentive to keep you healthy? So my goal for you is to keep you healthy, not just prevent illness. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't realize when they're going in for their annual physical. They think they're doing things to keep themselves healthy, But because that's within the medical system, all they're doing is just screening you to see if you're already sick. They aren't actually doing things to keep you healthy. Like for you, Robert, like you travel around the world doing talks. I mean, all the time you spend doing this, you need energy, you need mental clarity, and traditional medicine isn't helping you with that, right?
No, that's the biggest thing that there's a lot of correlation between health and wealth. Again, health and wealth are measured in time, but health and wealth are all also a function of education and discipline. And I talk about discipline a lot because as a kid growing up, I was a surfer kid in Hawaii. I was very undisciplined. Most of my classmates are undisciplined.
Yeah.
But they were cool guys that got laid a lot because they were surfers and all this stuff. And they drank a lot. And then most of them died early. They drank themselves to death. I had a good, I kind of envied it. I said, they had a great time. But I joined the U.S. Marine Corps to go fight. But the Marine Corps gave me the discipline. So I'm an undisciplined person who is still listening to the U.S. Marine Corps. And for those men know, I flew this little baby here in Vietnam. I loved it. Shot a lot of people. Had a good time. And I think this is off the subject, but it was in Vietnam I faced death. And every night before I flew a mission, I was a carrier pilot, and we're flying for the Battle of Quang Tri. We lost a lot of people. We killed a lot of people. They killed a lot of us. But every night before I flew into battle, I'd have to make peace. So if tomorrow's my last day on Earth, am I okay with that? And I think it's a very good process for people to say, well, if I'm dead tomorrow, am I okay with that? Have I lived my life to the fullest? But that was one of the disciplines I got. But the thing that, going back to health, what Nicole, what you do for me is you're that little angel on my shoulder, like, yeah. Like last night I was at a sushi party for sashimi, but I don't eat the soy sauce because it's sodium. So I have to learn how to eat raw fish without soy sauce. And so I compromise on that. And what else? I've lost a lot of weight because of you.
Yeah, we've taken you off some of your blood pressure meds. We were able to reverse diabetes. And I think that you have learned how you feel like the benefits of being healthy, and then you've also felt the opposite before you got healthy, and you're like, it's worth that compromise, right? And we work to
No, it's not.
Oh.
Don't, Nicole, come on. Don't tell me what I do, okay? I battle it every fucking day. That's what the benefit that you give me is I'm pretty disciplined financially, but I'm not disciplined health-wise. And so the greatest benefit you give me is your education, your reminder, your consciousness, is I'm more aware of what I'm doing. Like I was in Safeway last night, and they had watermelon or strawberries. Now, I'd rather have watermelon, but I could hear you saying, no, eat strawberries. So those are the things. What I'm trying to say, Nicole, is not just knowledge. It's fucking discipline. And when I talk to people who are broke or unhappy and all this stuff, is they lack discipline. And that's what you give me on the health side. Because without that discipline, I'd be sucking down the vodka and partying around, and like my classmates who just smoke dope all day. They're dead today. They had a good time. But that wasn't my choice. I joined the U.S. Marine Corps and went to fight, and they protested the war. But that's my generation. But the biggest point now, Nicole, is that there's, as you know, there's millions of people who cannot afford health care because it's not health care, it's wealth care. It's about making sure the doctors can afford the Trump Country Club. And it's about the pharmaceuticals just selling drugs. And that's what I go for you. I want to find out a better way of staying healthy rather than being sick all the time or fighting sickness. So health is not, Health is not pharmaceuticals. Health is the absence of pharmaceuticals.
Well said. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, our in 2022, there were 6.7 billion prescriptions written, and that's almost double what it was 10 years ago. So, obesity and overweight is almost at 80% in the US, and diabetes, 39 million with diagnosed and 100 million with pre-diabetes. Everything is just out of control. And I know that you have been, you work with Trump and RFK and they're working on some of these health initiatives, right?
Right. Well, the point here is, Nicole, it doesn't help them to know that. Your people have got to know that what your greatest gift to people is the discipline, is awareness and discipline. And the trouble with most people, they go for an annual checkup, and then they find out they already have a disease or something. But then the other problem begins, Nicole, is that they can't fix it. See, what's going on in America today is not only can my generation not afford to retire, they can't afford the health care. So the biggest catastrophic loss for a family is not the crash of the stock market. The crash is their health. So when I look at the stats of people out there, if the father or the mother or the kid gets sick, their finances are wiped out. And that's the thing that I want you to get to understand, that when you communicate to people, it goes into the correlation between health and wealth or time. But it's not just an annual checkup. And it's the same for me, is that the reason I have my cash flow board game back here and all this, the average person has no idea where they are financially. They have not a clue. They have some stupid fucking financial planner telling them to buy bonds, the 60-40, 60% equities, 40% bonds. Oh God, they're going to get wiped out. They're getting wiped out in 2025. It's already happening. So health and wealth are going down in 2025. And that's what Trump and those guys are working on. But it doesn't do any good if the people are not aware or not interested. I don't care about my health. I'm healthy. I was healthy last year. I had an annual checkup. And that's what's going on, Nicole. That's what's going on. So that's what you give me, is that discipline. But I am a person like Kenny McElroy. Your clients are ultra healthy, disciplined people. We're very disciplined. And when people are not disciplined, I was in Las Vegas a couple of months ago. Oh my God. I've never seen so many fat and ugly people in my life, man. They're just slurping away on their Slurpees, and the kids are fat and ugly, and going, holy mackerel. There's a book that was written, it was called Fat, Stupid, and Broke, the story of the American people.
It's sad. And do you think that it's just their lack of education, or they think that the traditional medical system is the only thing?
The point is, Nicole, is that, as a client of yours, my mother was an RN, registered nurse, and she didn't like doctors either. So she was kind of funny. She was into natural health. She was in naturopathic health. So, Radha Gopalan is a cardiologist, but he's also a practitioner of acupuncture. So it is a balance between East and West health, but it's what the Buddhists would call mindfulness. You got to be mindful. The average American just goes for an annual checkup, and you think you know that, or when they get sick. They're not into health. That's why Dr. Gopalan always says it's about wealth care. The healthcare situation and the insurance companies, they just make a lot of money. They don't really care about you. My concern is, I'll say this again and again and again, the average person says, well, I had an annual checkup. And they think that's enough. Or, I'll stop eating Slurpees or something. But they don't they're not monitoring their numbers. You see in my cash flow board game, I'm monitoring all my numbers. I'm on my numbers. Well, the same as health is the same thing. You're on my numbers. When I go to see you, you're on my numbers. That's the message, Nicole. It's not this thing about all this other stuff. You have to be on your numbers. That's discipline. I'm on my numbers. Kenny's on our numbers. That's what we make millions. But the average person has a 401k with a stupid financial planner. You know how long it takes to become a financial planner? 70 days. 70 days. And they put in these mutual funds and ETFs and all this stuff. I'm going, oh my God, we're in serious trouble. So it's health and wealth are measured in time. And what happens for a lot of people is when their health goes, it's gone. Their wealth is gone too.
Yeah, well said. Thank you, Robert. I think that you've made it very clear that our health system, or quote, health system, is the wealth system. It's not actually doing things to keep you healthy, and people need to learn how to invest in themselves. If it's education or some of, like, talking about numbers, like looking at, I'm always talking about, advanced lab results, because in the traditional medicine system, when we look at, they only use a few numbers. They don't use, like, you look at Robert's cash flow game, there's all these different numbers. We parallel that with health. We look at all different numbers, and we don't just keep you in this little box. I know, like, we've talked to Robert many times about, like, men's testosterone and why in this country men's testosterone is going down so much. Well, the general recommendations, they keep lowering, saying it's normal for men to have low testosterone, and it's not at all.
I understand, Nicole. You get too specific. Okay. Just understand that I go to you because I'm checking the numbers constantly. It's the same as I check, I'm having a lunch today with Tom Wheelwright, my accountant. I'm checking my numbers today. And that there's a lesson out there that for people to understand, if your health's not important to you, then your wealth's not important to you. Because when your health goes, your wealth goes too. And you're going to find out after 2025, this is December 2024, I'm expecting, we're already in a massive crash right now. It's going to wipe out those 401ks. And this guy, Tony Robbins, what a phony he is, man. I mean, he tells people to buy ETFs and all this. I'm going, ETFs are communists. Basically, they're just group investment plans. I sit there and watch it. Then I watch Kamala Harris. She's talking about, the government should pay for sex changes for criminals in jail. Could you imagine, Nicole, if I'm sitting in jail and today I'm Robert and tomorrow I'm Roberta? You know what I mean? I'm sitting in jail with a bunch of these guys that haven't had sex in a couple of hours. I mean, what? That's Kamala Harris. I mean, oh my God, Vice President of the United States. We're going to have sex changes for men. I'm going, what? In jail? You got to be kidding me. But that's how screwed up it is, Nicole. I mean, those are people giving advice out there. So that's why I can congratulate you having your podcast, but you've got to keep the numbers up. Check your numbers. And that's what you do for people. I can say most people, because I was one of these people, I just ate what I wanted to eat. I drank what I wanted to drink. Go for my annual checkup. It's all good. I'm free of disease, but I wasn't healthy. And I'm gotten healthier because of you. I used to have a 30-inch waist. I'm putting on 32-inch waist pants now. And I'm also, when I put on too much weight, then I call you up and I check my numbers again and I get back into line again. But what I used to do was I go from, when I was in the Marine Corps, it was a 32-inch waist. Then it was 34. Then it was 36. Then 38. Then 40. Went to 42 for a while and came down again, but I couldn't get below 40 to 38. But because of seeing you, my weight's gone down because my health has gone up. And that's the biggest difference of all is what you do is you have the discipline to educate, but as well as keep the numbers in check because you're checking more than just your blood pressure and your heart rate. Right? I mean, that's what you're doing. You're monitoring all the numbers.
Yeah. And you've made such a transformation and you look amazing. And I'm glad that inside is as healthy as outside.
Yeah. Well, it's not that, you're overly simplifying it, Nicole. There's a discipline to it. And what you provide is a discipline I don't have. It's like last night I was eating, sushi. No rice, no shoyu. It's pretty tough to eat that. But I ate it because I enjoyed it, but I just didn't have all the stuff I wanted. and there was no ice cream and Coke afterwards. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's discipline. That's discipline. And I think the reason people are unhealthy and unwealthy is lack of discipline, plus a lack of education. It's really tough. You know, if you're poor right now, I feel for you. If you're fat, overweight, and sick right now, I feel for you. But you got to, as we just say in the Marine Corps, suck it up, buttercup. You know, shape up, shape up, shape up. That's the Marine Corps way. And I'm glad I went to the Marine Corps versus smoke dope with my classmates and surf all day. Big difference in life.
Yeah, definitely. And look where you are now.
I have classmates. They were such studs because they were surfer boys. They were good looking. They were really good looking surfer guys. They have so many families. They got so many women pregnant. So now they have 3 families. Here, I'm not even getting laid, and these guys are getting families. You know, I'm going, holy mackerel. What else? It was, but they were cool. They smoked dope. They drank all day, and they had a good time. The girls loved them, and I was a stupid Marine. You know, that's a different it's life choices.
Yeah.
Life
Yeah.
choices, you know, tough.
Well, Robert, is there anything else that you would like to share?
I'd like to share that people need to talk to you, but it's in the numbers and it's in the discipline and what, like when you look at my numbers financially, I'm in really good shape, you know, but health wise, I can get better. And that's what health and wealth are measured in time. But the story is told in the numbers. So when you talk to people, where you educate me is you look at my numbers, say you're doing this, you're doing this. You can tell by my numbers, by my health numbers, where I'm out. And the
Yeah.
average person doesn't know. They say, you know, I thought I was healthy. I had an annual checkup, but that's where America's at today. And like I said, when I was sitting in Las Vegas the other day, a couple of months ago, holy mackerel. Fat people, kids are fat, slurping the Slurpees. I'm going, holy mackerel. And we're coming to January 2025. And I'm predicting the biggest stock market crash in history is coming just when the boomers need the money the most. So health and wealth are measured in time, but also money. So that's why I commend you for doing your program, but keep sharing what you know, but it's in the numbers. It's not these simple platitudes like, oh, just have a checkup, you know. So you do a great
Yes.
job and you provide the discipline, but if you notice, it's ultra healthy humans. High performance health for high performance people. Most people, that's why your clients are high performance people. But most people are not, unfortunately.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank
And
you.
thank you for reminding us health and wealth is measured in time.
And it's in the numbers. It's in the accuracy of the numbers. What story are the numbers telling you? My cash flow board game back there.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today on another episode of Ultra Healthy Now. And if you're ready to take control of your health and want to check out Ultra Healthy Human, you can go to our website, ultrahealthyhuman.com. I think there's also some before and after pictures of you, Robert, up there and your health transformation. So thank you again, Robert, for joining us. And thanks to our audience. And remember, your health is your greatest wealth. So we'll see you next time on Ultra Healthy Now.